Rico and Mexico go at it in every sport. And when you take it to boxing, you're talking about just one-on-one, one country on one side, one country on the other, and just 2 men in the ring.
I think in a way, the Rio head-to-head came in De La Hoya Trinidad.
You had Puerto Rico and their favorite child, and you had Mexico with a fighter that they had adopted. They had never felt that Oscar De La Hoya was one of them, but they're going to borrow him for this one.
The tremendous hype of the fight was realized the day before at the weigh-in.
They came up with the idea that this fight was so big, we should do it in the arena. The weigh-in for this fight was something special.
This felt like a World Cup final between Mexico and Puerto Rico.
When Oscar came out, you saw one of those moments that you see once in a while in boxing.
I couldn't make the weight anymore. And I was so concerned that I took everything off. And the arena just went crazy because apparently my trainer, I told him, keep the damn towel up. And he apparently brought it down, and everybody went crazy. I said, what's going on? I looked down, and I'm like exposed to the world.
Oscar De La Hoya, 147 pounds.
The weigh-in was a preview of what would go on in the arena the next night. We knew the atmosphere was going to be over the top.
On a weekend of electric excitement in Las Vegas, 5 years of eager anticipation among boxing insiders and fight fans climaxes with the welterweight summit meeting between two unbeaten knockout artist champions, Puerto Rico's Felix Trinidad, Southern California's Oscar De La Hoya.
What boxing truly needs tonight is a fight that lives up to or even exceeds the very high expectations for this fight. It would also be nice if we got a decision that was just in the end.
Trinidad used the national spotlight to draw attention to the controversy on the Puerto Rican island of Vieques, where the U.S. conducted military exercises.
There were always these accidental deaths of someone because of this. And there was one death which occurred, and people were saying enough is enough. And when Felix Trinidad walked into the ring showing solidarity with the people of Vieques, he couldn't ask for anything better.
Wherever it was, whether it was a big screen or a TV set or whatever, it created a bridge directly to the hearts of every Puerto Rican watching.
The time has arrived for the ultimate confrontation. 12 rounds of boxing for the welterweight championship of the world. Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya.
This will be a clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Any questions, touch, trust, and blood.
Round one begins.
De La Hoya moving.
Hard right hand by De La Hoya, right up the middle.
People knew that Oscar had boxing skills and that he was going to have to outbox Tito to win. But nobody realized he was going to do it that easily. He was giving him a clinic.
You're taking him to school. You're giving him a boxing lesson.
I remember leaning over to the guy next to me, sort of in shock, and said, De La Hoya is making Trinidad look foolish.
Harold, how'd you score the first 3 rounds?
3-0, 30-27, Oscar De La Hoya. Beautiful ring generalship, good clean punching. Oscar wins on those 2 points.
And he's trying to like chase me, and he's lost. So I say to myself, okay, if I continue on this and pop my jab, right hand, throw a few combinations here and there, then I can win the fight.
Punch this guy to hell, Oscar, just like you said you were going to do. Give him a boxing lesson.
Oscar popping Trinidad with a 4-punch combination, stepping forward, going to the body, back upstairs. Outclass is too big a word for what's happening here, but it's verging on that. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Jim, 6 rounds to 3, 87-84, Oscar De La Hoya. Boxing beautifully.
As the fight moved into the later rounds, De La Hoya's successful boxing strategy deteriorated into retreat.
Oscar's always been the one to close the show. Now he's trying to close the show by guaranteeing a victory for himself simply by staying away from Trinidad.
I have to admit I was a bit tired. I've never boxed like that in my life. My legs were shaking. I thought I had the fight in the bag after 9 rounds, so I'm gonna cruise the last 3 rounds. You know, that's what my corner told me too. So I said, okay, let's do it.
You got him controlled. You got the fight.
Both Alcazar and Gil Clancy in his corner told him you have the fight won, and they basically instructed him not to engage Trinidad too heavily, and don't risk too much. And turned out to be terrible advice.
2 more rounds. Okay, that's it, and we go home.
You can blame the corner, you can blame the people, but inside the ring, it's only you.
How do you feel, Oscar? Okay? Box the next 2 rounds.
My corner was telling me box him, and then you have to fight in the bag. But when it comes down to it, hey, it's my fault.
He made a choice that rather than get knocked out, rather than get hurt, he would take a chance that he had a big enough lead to stay away. And he basically threw away the last 3 rounds.
He lost a lot of fans within his own ethnic community by fighting the last 3 rounds against Trinidad the way that he did. That is not the way a Mexican fighter would have fought that particular fight.
He's finished. We gotta take him now. He's all beat up already. Now we gotta go to work. Now it's your fight.
He seemed uncomfortable because he kept running. He knew that if he stopped to fight, he could have been knocked out because he knew I was a harder puncher. That's why he was always on the run.
At the end of 9 rounds, he had a 3-point lead. All he needed to do was win one of the last 3 rounds, and he would have won.
You can feel the scorecards narrowing as round 12 begins. Harold Letterman, how do you have it going into the last frame?
105, 104, 6 rounds to 5. Oscar De La Hoya. Jim, the question is, can you win a fight running away?
Many questions to be answered after these next 55 seconds go away.
George, you tell me, do you think that De La Hoya has won the fight the way he's fought the last several rounds?
I don't think so. I think he had the fight in control, and now he's leaving it in the hand of the judges.
As the crowd awaited the decision, many believed that De La Hoya's popularity in Las Vegas would give him the edge with the judges.
Well, we've talked and talked about the home court factor. The question of whether Tito Trinidad can get a decision against Oscar De La Hoya in Las Vegas.
Oscar lived in Los Angeles, but his town was Las Vegas. He'd fought there so many times, his biggest fights he fought there. And if you were going to outpoint him, you'd better beat him convincingly, otherwise you had no chance.
I knew that Oscar won the fight. I mean, the first 9 rounds, the worst it could have been was 7-2. There was no way he could lose the fight.
Michael Buffer has the numbers in his hand.
Glenn Hamada scores the bout 114 to 114. He has it even.
The first scorecard. When they announced it was like such a close call, I said, oh, okay, here we go. I'm going to be part of a shady situation.
Bob Logis scores the bout 115 to 114.
I was confident that Tito had won. We knew he had won it. However, there was still the possibility that they would steal it from us.
And Jerry Roth scores the bout 115 to 113 for the winner by majority decision de Puerto Rico and the unified welterweight champion of the world, Felix Trinidad.
That answers the question of whether Felix Trinidad could get a decision against Oscar De La Hoya in Las Vegas. Yes, he could.
The celebration of the Trinidad victory went from the ring in Las Vegas to the streets of Puerto Rico.
I had beat the Golden Boy. It was a moment of great emotion. I cried when I heard the decision. It's a moment I'll never forget.
De La Hoya's first reaction to the decision was denial.
You know, I know I won. You know, he's a great fighter. I thought I put a boxing lesson of my life.
Once away from the ring, shock and outrage would soon merge and explode.
I landed 120 more fucking punches, man. Shit. I fucking gave him a boxing lesson. God damn it, man. Bullshit. Shit.